Hey guys, I got a little bit of a special deck profile right now. This is what I plan on playing in this coming format, mostly. Can't play it yet. I'm waiting on March 1st. That would be Elemental Hero The Shining. Now, if you guys don't know about The Shining, he is busted for the Gemini control deck. Basically, he's a hero monster and a light monster. He's a 2600. He gains 300 for every remove from play elemental hero you have. And whenever he's sent to the graveyard, you can add up to 2 elemental heroes that are removed from play back to your hand. So you take the Gemini deck that I've previously posted and then start spamming 26, who typically when you bring him out will end up being a 32 by effect, that whenever he goes away, recycles my whole graveyard back to keep being used. It is absolutely amazing for the deck. That's my main one for this upcoming format. There's a couple other ones that I want to talk about for future reference. The first one of those being Elemental Hero Great Tornado. He's a 28. Whenever he hits the field, he's a giant gale. He halves everything else. He requires the Elemental Hero in a wind, so you use your Stratos at a grave for him. You'd only need one of him at any given time. Well, maybe more because of Dragonities if you're trying to super poly. And then the last one I want to talk about, it's a little weird. I've never seen anyone on YouTube talk about it, but so I think I'm going to be the first, is Vision Hero Adoration. This guy, when I saw him, I thought was totally badass. He's a 2800 fusion of any 2 hero monsters. So pretty much anything out of my own graveyard, or if I happen to be playing Mirror Match, whenever the TCG gets him, if we ever get him. But his effect is I can select one other hero monster that I control and one monster my opponent controls, and my opponent's monster loses attack equal to my elemental hero that I've chosen other than himself. So he's sort of like this another Gale-ish effect. But I thought he was pretty cool and definitely usable with the deck. Tornado will be decently soon. I would hope to say by the end of the year. Vision Hero, I have no idea, but I just decided to talk about him anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my deck profile, if I could talk, for next format about this guy. So basically, we have the standard start of Trip Alias. This doesn't change. Overall, compared to my last video, this deck is very, very similar, so I'm just going to speed through this. Trip Ryo, Double Cyber, Double Honest. Don't forget the Shining is light as well, so still 2 Warrior Ladies, Stratos, Ice Edge. I had him profiled at the beginning of this video as well because he's my new, probably favorite tech for the deck. He's the replacement for Elemental Hero Ocean. Since this deck revolves around Miracle Fusion, Future Fusion, and Super Poly, he's sort of my main deck shot at 0. I can Future Fusion and target him in, say, Alias for 0 because he's a water, and then Miracle Fuse him out of grave for Shining, and Shining gets the 600 boost since both of them are elemental heroes. Not to mention his other effect, you can discard a card for him to attack directly, and whenever he deals a direct attack, whether it's by his own effect or not, you get to destroy 1 set backfield. If it's chainable, it sort of sucks, but it can give you a couple free pops, and you could also always use your discard to be baiting your graveyard for your Miracle Fusions. And again, Gores, when shit gets tough, he wins games. Rhoda, double E-Call, same as before. Trip Spark, same as before. Double Smashing, same as before. Sound like a broken record, but it's not a lot of changes until we get to here. Future Fusion and Trip Miracle Fusion. Like I mentioned earlier, the Future Fusion is typically, if able, you're targeting 0. so that you can ditch the Ice Edge and something else. And then once they're engraved, you Miracle Fuse them out for the Shining and start beating people in the face. So this is where the deck gets its own beat sticks, its own recyclability, even more so. It's amazing. And then still to top that off, we have the main Super Poly. I've thought about maining 2 in this build, but I'm still only doing the 1. I'm focusing mostly on myself rather than my opponent. The Super Poly is just sort of that tech for fun, I guess you could say. Staples, Mist, Dark Hole, Reborn. And then the traps are also almost identical. God Says No. Double Warning. Double Bottomless. Only 1 Hero's Blast this time around. Most of my graveyard is being removed for the Miracle Fusions so that I can bring out Shining. And then Shining's recycling them back to my hand from a Roof and Play. So more than 1 Hero's Blast becomes very dead since you're typically not going to have much of a target engrave. And then Mirror Force, Staple, and Double Deep Prison. The extra deck for this is pretty similar to the other one. Just a little more fusion based. You're gonna have Trip Shining. I only have one of the Japanese ones, sort of sad, but it's still pretty cool. So imagine 3 of this guy. You've still got the Draco Knight Quest. You've still got Double Zero. Again, we have mained version to get 1, and then the Super Poly, and at least the sided second Super Poly to take my opponent's stuff to keep making that. Again with 2 Gaia. Again with 2 Chimera Tech, and then because of the more fusions, there's only a couple staple synchros that I use, and this one is the Encase, and that's Goyo, Bryo, Black Rose, Scrap Dragon, and Stardust. So there's my 15. Tell me what you guys think. I expect this to be a very, very plausible deck next format, and I think being able to drop Shining and have that beat stick that's going to keep recycling for me is going to be very good against Sams. As long as I can get the Miracle Fusion off, they're almost going to have to be forced to use Dark Hole to get over it. As long as I'm playing smart and don't run into Deep Prisons and things like that. So anyways, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me guys what you think. Any ideas that you think would be great for this deck come March 1st, and everything's appreciated. Thanks, guys.